Welcome back. I'm Chris Ferris, and I'm talking with you this week about the Knowledge Project series and what I'm doing with the Knowledge Project series. Last week we talked about the writing of a lesson, writing of a devotion, and the process by which I was writing the Knowledge Project lesson on Friends. But I also gave you some pointers into how to write your own lesson or your own devotion, anything that you were doing. And really it works for yourself too when you're reading or having your own personal devotion time. Go back through that video and try and think about how can I apply those four concepts. This week we're moving beyond the lesson. Now we're going to go to the weekly activities. And you can break down these activities into two primary categories: internal activities and external activities. Internal activities focus on developing yourself, and external activities focus on developing others. For this video, we're going to talk about internal activities. The four things that I'm working on for internal activities are: think on these things, in word or deed, dig deeper, and more of the story. First off is more of the story. Really all you do for more of the story is take scriptures that come from the lesson, and you just lay them out on the page. And the scriptures that I was mainly pulling from was the story of David and Jonathan and the story of David and Nathan. So what I did was I pulled from one of the interactions between David and Jonathan, what led up to that interaction, and then finally the last couple verses after the interaction, so that this frames that story. And then with Nathan, the same thing. And so after you've done that lesson, you can go home and you can read. That might be a good thing for you to do if you're teaching a Bible study is, hey, let me type out the scriptures that I'm using, the stories that I'm using, where the scripture references are, and even typing out those scriptures so that when they go home they can read them on that one sheet of paper. The second thing I did was dig deeper. And with dig deeper, all it is you don't necessarily use these sources, but it's pulling sources from outside the Bible. For me, I went and found books on Friends and how they wrote stuff on Friends. That way that somebody who wants to continue reading and continue learning about what people have written on that subject in the Bible, they can go have it. And it's just as simple, like you can print it out on a card and give it to them. Hey, here's some references right here. You might text it to them. You might email it to them. You don't have to have it on a sheet of paper like the Knowledge Project has. So you definitely want to pick books that you've read, and you want to pick books that you feel that highlight and advance the topic that you're talking about. The third thing that you can do for internal activities is think on these things. Now, is taking scriptures that you used in the lesson and asking people to dive deeper into those scriptures. What does it mean? Well, let's look in the Strong's Concordance. And once again, Blue Letter Bible is great for that kind of a reference. But underlining that and asking the person to go look up that phrase or that term. Some people can get a lot out of that, and sometimes we see the scripture more alive when we look at the breakdown of those words. One thing that I did that's a little bit different with this than just asking you to look up the lexicon, the Strong's Concordance, for those words, is to add a scripture in there that's a cross-reference. It'll create an interesting comparison, so it kind of challenges people to go a little bit deeper in the Bible. The fourth thing is in word or deed, and this is about doing an activity that helps reinforce those concepts that have been learned in the lesson into your life. It's kind of like what we do on my website with an active write on a note card the term loyalty, and then on another note card the term encouragement, and on another note card the term honesty. And look through the Bible and find examples of people who live those concepts, of Psalms and Proverbs that talk about those concepts, and the sermons in the Bible that mention those concepts, and writing down in general what's being said, and then the scripture reference next to it. And that way you can this is a learning style that really helps with people who like to have something hands-on, something that's creative. 4 different learning styles there that are being presented. The in word or deed kind of does more of a creative, physical, hands-on kind of learning. think on these things works more for people who want to do more research and want to dive into scriptures and dig deeper. Works for people who like to read further and find out other, expand the idea through other people's writings and know more about what other people have said on this topic. More of the story. People who just want to see the scripture for themselves and having that physical, it's all just right there in front of them. That helps them to see it. You need to pick what works best for yourself. So I hope that this has been helpful for you, is that you can use multiple methods to internally activate a lesson into somebody or your own life, and then that opens up the opportunity for external methods, and that's what we'll be talking about next time. I look forward to talking to you next time about